Hello, this is in the video series for GH101 in our Computing Bootcamp Basic Concepts and Terms, and this video is going to be what the computer is made of. These are all terms and we'll spell them out. I'm going to go with parts of a computer. We'll see a picture here, and then in class we will probably get our hands on some of these things. Let us see. Alright, parts of a computer. If we look inside of a computer, give us a good picture. Alright. If we take apart a computer, this here is a good, either one of these is a good image, or this one here. You'll see wires, and there's a fan, and then it looks like circuit boards. Alright, so I want to give a name to different parts that you'll see in there, and then what they're for. And we can see how this all fits together, probably in class. Alright, let's take this one here. These are all different parts. The biggest part in there is called the motherboard. So the motherboard is the main circuit board. Everything else in the computer plugs into. Why is it called motherboard? Because. Okay, so that's, you can't have anything without the motherboard. Everything plugs into there. The next most important part is the CPU, or processor. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit, also called the processor. Okay, that is the part of the computer. It's called the brains of the computer. It sort of acts like a brain, but it's the part of the computer that can do things. It's in charge. Okay, the CPU, central processing, processor, runs the computer. Okay, the way the computer works on the inside is there's somebody there that's reading through a list of instructions about what needs to happen, and the CPU is the one that's in charge of that. You can think of it as the manager of the computer. It's the one that keeps track of what needs to happen. All right, a core, so if we look at CPU here, a lot of these links go to Wikipedia, which will have more information than you perhaps want. But if you look for core here, you can see here that a core, multi-core processor means there's really more than one of what we used to call a CPU in a single package. So a core here is an individual processing unit inside of a package. So a 4-core CPU really has 4 processing units. So processing units are things that can do something for you. They can do calculations. They can make part of a video game work. All right, so more cores is more stuff that can be done at the same time. All right, let's go back to our picture here. So the CPU on this computer here fits into that spot there on the motherboard. Down here we have memory, and this piece of memory here would fit into this slot there and click in. So memory is storage space on the computer for keeping track of programs. It's typically, so keeping track of programs and instructions for the computer to do, like the instructions that are part of the web browser that we're using right now are sitting, so this web browser is sitting inside of the memory on my computer somewhere. All right, and RAM stands for random access memory. Random access means you can, the CPU can look at any part of the RAM any part of the RAM in the same amount of time. So something that's not random access would be okay, so something that's not random access would be, let's say that you're looking on the you're looking at street signs from 3rd Street in Terre Haute. All right, so you start at 3rd Street and then you're going to drive and you want to find out where is 25th Street. Okay, if you're going to drive until you get to 25th Street, that's going to take longer than if you drive to look for 13th Street. So finding 25th Street would take longer than finding 13th Street, right? You just have to sort of go in order. Memory is random access. That means if you want the 25th spot in memory, or the 13th, or the 250 millionth, or whatever, any spot in there, if you know what spot you want, you can get it in the same amount of time. Okay, so the memory that we use is random access memory. That's good. We'll leave that like that. Okay. Other things that are on our list here, there's hard drive, an acronym that sometimes gets used is HDD, hard disk drive. Okay, so a hard disk drive is not random access. It's not as fast as RAM, is memory, but much cheaper and larger than memory. So memory is good because it's random access and it's fast. Hard drive is good because it's cheaper and larger. Memory also, traditionally, the memory that's in the computer is volatile. So volatile in computer speak here means whatever is stored is lost after the computer reboots. Okay, so if you reboot the computer, whatever's sitting in the memory, whatever's sitting in my browser right here, that's sitting in memory, if I reboot the computer, that would be gone. So the computer wouldn't know exactly what was on the screen if it was just stored in memory. The hard disk drive, on the other hand, is permanent. So once you put information on the hard disk, it survives a reboot. That's good. If you want to put your pictures somewhere of your kids, you want them to be surviving past a reboot. I don't think we have on this picture a solid state drive. So this is solid state drive. So this is a long-term storage like a hard disk drive. Okay, so it's cheaper than memory and larger than memory. It's permanent, but it uses different technology than a hard disk drive, which makes it a bit more expensive than a hard disk drive, but a fair amount faster. I'll just say faster in general. Okay, so your newer computers will have solid-state drives. If they're more high-end computers, they'll have solid-state drives that are faster than hard disk drives. Okay, on the list of parts of a computer, we've got a video card there. And the video card is responsible for going outside of the computer box there and into the monitor, into the display. On here, the new name for that is GPU, Graphics Processing Unit. And this is on the video card. Okay, so this GPU, Graphics Processing Unit, is in charge of outputting information to the screen. So the task of the video card there, it does some special stuff to send information out to the screen. And this is particularly important for something like video games, where there's a lot of stuff going on to generate a sophisticated video game, 3D first-person shooter or something, and the video card helps with some of that calculations to go out to the screen. All right, network card is where the internet cable plugs into the computer. If you have a physical cable and not a wireless, so there's a network card there. Okay, screen monitor. Not going to say anything else about that. So I/O in computer language stands for input/output. So input from the user and to the user. I'm the user of my computer right now. How is the computer getting from me what I want? Okay, so anything that I use to tell the computer what I want is input devices. So keyboard and mouse and touch screen. Okay, those are the most important ones. And then output is anything that the computer uses to give information to me. So that's mostly the screen, but also a printer. And you could view a network card as an input-output device as well. It actually takes information into the computer and sends information out. All right, so we didn't probably get everything here, but most of it, and this is my original list. Something you can do is you can actually buy these things on Amazon. Newegg is a place that, as of 2018, sells computer parts. So I can get parts of a computer. I can look up for processors, CPU, desktop CPUs, and maybe Intel Core i7 is something that I've heard of as a thing, and then I'll see specs here like 3.4 gigahertz, and that means that something in that CPU is happening 3.4 billion times per second. And quad core, it has 4 separate processing units inside of it. All right, and we could look through any of those things. You could see pictures by looking for, so you could look for a motherboard or a solid state drive to see what's the different cost of getting different solid state versus hard drive. Okay, so what so after watching this video, what I would like for you is that you could remember these terms and sort of the short description, so that you could, if I ask you what's a GPU, then you could say, oh, it's the graphics processing unit, it's a video card. Then to get a better feel for these different things, what we could do is play at making a new computer by deciding what's going to go into it. All right, so we might do that for an assignment. But for now, we'll say this is it for what a computer is made of.